Welcome, beautiful souls, to my channel. This is a Valentine's Day reading. This reading has been sitting here collecting energy for a while now, and now it is time to read the cards. This is a general reading for the collective, so only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You're responsible for your actions and reactions to readings. And we're going to be using my Soul Sisters Far in Love Oracle, so this might end up being short. We'll just see how it goes. You know how spirit can be. Sometimes my readings are shorter, sometimes they're longer. All depends. I will say this though, I'm loving the energy of this reading. I'm loving the vibration of it. And I will have another one possibly later today. Maybe I'll set it for premiere tomorrow that centers in more on self-love. This one will be a lovers reading. So we're talking about soulmates, twin flames, lovers, all of that jazz, sacred unions pretty much. So if you feel that you are being drawn to a sacred union or that you are in a sacred union, this could be the reading for you. If you wish to book a personal reading with me, you can do so. The link is in the description. On my Instagram, I'm going to have a couple of more votes on it, but so far the votes say yes. I'm going to have like little Insta story 3 to 4 card pools for you guys, and those will be very simple, very short, just short enough to fit in the time frame of an Insta story, and they'll be like $5, maybe $10, depending on what the reading's about and what energy comes in. And you would pay beforehand, and then I would either put the message in the Insta story or send it to your DM as like a little video or maybe a picture. I might do picture ones for $5 and do the talking ones for about 10 to 15. But you guys will be able to vote on that. If you follow me on Instagram, I will have a option to vote for it in my Insta story. You can follow me at Native Amina as well as at Amina Divine Starseed on IG. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get on into this reading because I really love the energy here. We're going to turn this around. So these are the cards that came out. The ones that are on the other stand are the bottom of the decks that I haven't looked at yet. Those are just sitting there, but these are the cards that shuffled out. I put them here inside this little thingy, and these also shuffled out. These are the face up cards, and these are the face down cards. So we have divinely guided. This, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this card come out in another reading. Most of you have to come to terms with this. Your sacred unions are divinely guided. Your path is divinely guided. You don't have an insignificant journey. So because you don't have an insignificant journey, your journey to love is also not insignificant. And there are certain things that have to come into place. There are certain things that the vibration has to match in order for you to be compatible with your person and for that person to be compatible with you. Now, it doesn't mean that once you get together, you're not going to have, some of your challenges or certain things that you'll have to iron out within each other's personalities. But right now, focusing on self-love, and by self-love, I mean really taking time to adore you, love on you. Okay, look in the mirror and affirm to yourself, and then put that affirmation into action. Too many of y'all, and this is why I have soul sessions available, because too many of you, you think affirmations and meditations is it. That's like enough. And that's all you got to do. No, there are actions throughout the day, things to say to yourself, things when you're in the middle of doing something. It could be something as simple as cooking, things that you can do to hype yourself up, to pump yourself up. Start doing things from a higher vibration, and it helps to intensify what you're meditating on, what you're affirming. And you don't want to be caught up on just meditating and just affirming your love life, and that's it. Because okay, let's say you do that and your person pops up and you're not ready. Because as much as you may think you're ready, are you? Are you emotionally ready? Are you mentally ready? Are you spiritually ready? Or are you just one of those things? Maybe half of those things. You can't ask somebody to come into union with you and give you 100% of who they are. And yes, we're in the age of Aquarius. So for those of you that are used to that, I give 50%, you give 50%. Boo-boo, that was never really meant to be a thing. And in this new age, it's really not a thing. It's just not. You give 100%, they give 100%. That's the little playful challenge between the two. It's like, all right, all right, you gave 100%, I'm gonna give 120. Well, I'm gonna meet your 120 with another 120. Like that's, and it's fun. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. And even when you go through challenges, even when you go through hard times, you balance each other out. You each learn enough about each other to know how to really support each other. But you have to know how to support yourself first. And you also have to trust in the path. And that can be difficult, even for the best of us, even for those of us who we get spiritual downloads all the time. It can be very difficult to trust that the person we're being shown or the direction that we're being led in, that's the one that's for us. But you know how you can learn to trust it? It's not just about the synchronicities. That's a part of it. But it's learning how to tap into your own intuition as well. You're led to us for a reason. And by us, I mean those of us who do readings, whether, for me, I do channel messages without the cards and with the cards. If you're led to do something, book something with me, there's a reason behind that. There's something else that you may need to tap into. And that's why I always say to you guys, you may ask for a certain question. But I'm the kind of person, if the divine tells me that's not what they're supposed to focus on, they need to know this, we're going to talk about what the divine says you need to know, because that's the real cure to whatever the problem is. That's the real solution. And I'm here for guidance and clarity. I cannot tell you what to do. I can sit and I can say trust in the divine all day. I can say divine timing's at play. I tell you guys all the time, divine timing depends on you. Divine timing is happening right now. Right at this very moment. Time, the way that you understand it, doesn't exist. So what divine timing truly means in its essence, it's happening in the current moment, in the present, at all times consistently, but are you able to match its vibration? Now, because it's happening at all times consistently, that means that sometimes, even when you're not ready, at least in your mind, you don't believe you're ready, an opportunity, it just presents itself. You could be minding your business in the mall one day and bam, you run into your twin flame. You could be minding your business doing work somewhere and bam, you run into your soulmate, whichever partners for you. Not everybody has necessarily a twin flame journey, but for those of you who do, you could know this person already. You could be feeling their energy and you have no idea who they are. You could have met them once. You could have never met them before, but you keep seeing their face and then bam, they're right in front of you. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. You don't know how to respond because you're too in your head. Number one, you didn't take the time to also center yourself, and you can easily be triggered by that person. And that's another reason to trust in the divine, because triggers are not meant for you to cling to. Nothing toxic is meant for you to cling to. That is a human choice. It's something that you were taught not to believe was a choice. But my loves, it's a human choice to say, I'm going to cling to a trauma. I'm going to cling to a certain event. When you decide, I want to release myself of my traumas, I want to release myself of my triggers, it's easier to come into union because your person could be going through dark night of the soul right now. Your person could be going through all kinds of crazy mayhem, and you may not be able to handle where they are, where their headspace is, if you don't even have yourself in order. And divine feminines, I remind you guys all the time, the journey in many cases, it starts with you, because the divine feminine energy is the creator energy. So most of the time, we're activated first. The divine feminine energy within our masculines, many a time, activates first, because you guys have to remember, yes, there's a container that represents, and by container I mean body, that represents male, female, masculine, feminine, but to the real core of it all, masculine and feminine is energy. It's energy, and both of those energies exist within you and exist within them. And so when you come together, you're reflections of each other. Twin flames are they're pretty much an exact mirror of each other, but soulmates can also reflect certain things within each other as well. But twin flames, they're mirrors. It's like looking at you, because in a way you are. And the journey that you participate in, it has a lot of missions. You have your own personal mission to do, separate. But then when you come together, you have that union mission to do. And not everybody signed up for that. So everything you start to do, just loving each other, just embracing each other, is enough to inspire people. You find that when you work together, certain miracles just tend to come out of that. In order for that type of thing to take place, you have to be willing to know what your triggers are, face them, deal with them, cleanse them out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, your twin flame will trigger you, even if they don't mean to. And it's not always what you hear. It's not always they triggered you because they did something bad, because they're in a third party situation. I remind you guys many a time, and this is channeling in, so that's why I'm spending so much time on it. But I've reminded you guys many of times that you could really not be doing anything bad and trigger them, or vice versa, because sometimes when they meet you, you might be more together than they are. And that is a trigger because they don't believe they're capable of being together like that. They don't believe that they're capable of being so even tempered, so level headed, whatever it is that they find to be so-called perfect about you, because perfect, like beauty, is in the eyes of the beholder. Whatever it is that they find to be perfect, if they don't feel they can match that, that can be a trigger to them, and that can make them act out. That can make them try to provoke you to see if your other shoe drops, because in their mind they're like, you can't be this nice, you can't be this, you can't be that beautiful, you can't be that handsome, blah blah blah. They're constantly hating on themselves, and in a sense to get to you and see you are able to do the things that they always felt they couldn't do, instead of realizing, wait a minute, this person's your mirror. That means that this ability is in you, and they're here to inspire that to come out of you. A lot of times they have more of a negative response. Everybody's at a different point in their journey. Okay, so allow yourself to accept that you're being divinely guided. Allow yourself to realize that when you come into union with your partner, it will feel like home, but you have to be open. You have to be open to give and receive. Do you see how she's holding him and he's embracing her, and he has her wrapped around and, kind of guarding her? It's almost like that the material he's wearing, it's almost like it's a shield, and they're just warm and cozy with each other. That's how the union is supposed to be. That feeling of, I've found home. But in order for you to find home in another person, you first must recognize it in yourself, because your real home is within you, and then that other person reflects it out. So in order to truly accept that someone else can feel like home, that someone else can be the warmth and comfort of home, because home has never been a physical place, ever. Home's always been the soul. Loves, always. Those of us who can remember being multidimensional beings and etc., we will all tell you the same thing. Home always starts within the core of us first. And then we're able to see the reflections of it in other places, in other people, in other situations. But it always starts with us. It's going to always lead back to self-love. It's going to always lead back to centering into the heart space and actually manifesting, learning yourself from that space. And look, to prove the point, the self-love card is here. And what was that whole section about just now? I don't even feel like I need to go deep into this card, because the whole first part with the divine guided card and with the feels like home, self-love, in order to be divinely guided to this person that makes you feel at home with yourself, that makes you feel at home with them, you must tap into self-love. And when you do that, that's when you start to really groove with love. That's when you really start to have this spiritual dance of love with love, because you're coming from it. You embody it. Love exists in the core of who you are. Love, it's not some external thing. It never has been. You are born of it. It doesn't matter what your parents did. That's basic human bleh. You are born of the divine. You are a divine being. You were born out of love. You were born with purpose. When you sit and you ask yourself questions like, what's my purpose? What's the purpose to life? What's the purpose to my union? You. And it's going to be the same thing for the other person, them, and then coming together. Let me clarify this in the most simplest terms. The I is the you is the we is the us. When I tell you guys to tap into the power of I am, because that was the first sound of the universe, do not be confused. I am doesn't mean what you've been learned to think it means, where it's just like this self-centering thing and that's it. I am is the we. It's the energy of the collective. It's the energy of the tapestry. The definition of the word has changed over time, but the power of it, the reason that when you affirm something with I am abundant, I am love, I am loved, I am peaceful. When you do that, you're activating your inner God energy, your inner goddess energy. And then what happens is the people around you, people who can't resonate with that high frequency, fall off. People who are inspired by that high frequency come forward. People who are romanced by that frequency, and romance doesn't just have to mean lovers. People who just see you in this romantic, almost like a flowing breeze way, start to come towards you. They're drawn towards you, and therefore your soulmate, twin flame, same reaction, like a moth to the flame burnt by the fire. So you have to be willing to dance with love. You have to be willing to dance with self-love in order to find that home. Let's head into the bottom parts of the cards. Let's flip these over. We have divine masculine. So confirmation that you're divine masculine, for those of you watching for a masculine, they're mirroring you. If you're a masculine watching for a feminine energy, the feminine energy is mirroring you. You guys are mirroring each other in certain parts of this journey. You don't have to mirror every single little thing. Sometimes people, again, their mind just goes somewhere else when someone says, oh, you're mirroring each other. And they think that that means everything you're doing, they're doing. No. But there are certain things that you're mirroring along in your journey. So if you're going through a moment of self-doubt, they're going through a moment of self-doubt. If you have a certain challenge, it may not be the same exact challenge, but the challenge generates the same kind of vibration and feeling. So your divine masculine, for those of you that were watching, you're like, I just want a confirmation. That's here for as a confirmation for some of you. Okay. And please understand, when you are trying to figure out if someone is your soulmate or someone is your twin flame, you not only have to tap into intuition, remove all your opinions. To know everything is to know nothing. To know nothing is to know everything. Remove everything you thought, because a lot of you are used to hearing, other readers give different descriptions of things, and then you come into these readings and they may resonate, but your mind tries to go back to what you heard before. Forget everything you know and tap into that core knowledge, that core intuition. Please do not mistake an intuition again for what it's been watered down to in a human dictionary. Intuition is connected to your third eye and your crown. Connect to that third eye knowledge, connect to that crown knowledge, which is literally a part of the divine itself. It's a part of source itself, and allow yourself to resonate where you need to. That's why I always say, only take what resonates for you, leave what doesn't. Don't try to make somebody be your divine masculine. Okay? Don't try to say, oh, I must be in that type of situation. Really tap into no. Really ask the divine, show me a clear, definite sign that I cannot dispute. And then allow for the divine to guide you in that way. You don't have to seek out the number synchronicities. You don't have to seek out the readings. Let them come to you. Let yourself feel. Because that's another problem, is sometimes when people are in their feelings, your so-called in their feelings vibration, half of the time is an illusion. But if you tap into your real vibration, your core vibration, answers come naturally. And to keep the journey from being a headache, focus on self-love. Be playful. Be joyful. For those of you that went on my Instagram, you saw those same kind of messages. As you enjoy yourself, enjoy your company, enjoy your life, you help to bring your union together. And your divine masculine has to step up. Not every divine masculine is going to be everybody's divine masculine. You have to center in and know who is yours. And you have to be centered in yourself to recognize that. You can't just fall for the romance was like a movie type of thing. Or, I heard it was complicated and I've been going through hell with my partner, so that must be what it is. Not every twin flame journey is hell. Not every twin flame journey is third-party situations and etc. This keeps channeling in because some of y'all really need to have that drilled in, We have leaving the past. The divine masculine is leaving the past behind. So for those of you were with your masculine at one point, you went through a separation. Yes, twin flame separations are real. No, twin flame separations are not always about the same damn thing. I kind of get a little tired of saying it, but that's just what it is. Not every twin flame journey goes through a separation. Some get together, stay together. They've already done a lot of self-work in their life. And so by the time they get together, even if they have challenges, they iron them out a bit more. But for those of you who tend to go to separation, a lot of times one of you is overwhelmed. The runner isn't always the masculine. Sometimes it's also the feminine. And it's all from being overwhelmed, maybe believing that this can't possibly be real. This type of love doesn't exist because my parents didn't blah, 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 or this happened or that happened. Oh, I was so unlucky with love. Why would I all of a sudden find the right person now? And people get scared and they haul ass. They just bounce. But whatever may have happened in the past between the two of you, the masculine wants to let it go. And he wants you to let it go. Can you just leave it in the past? Can we move forward? They're in a 6 of Swords. Chariot, for those of you who understand the tarot kind of mentality, like I have the willpower to triumph and go forward. I want to move forward mentally, spiritually, and physically. Can we do that? And it's up to you. For those of you watching for your masculine, and your masculine can be in a feminine container, because I'm picking up on both. You can be in a same-sex union. You could be in a male-female union. Whatever your situation looks like, whatever you identify as, that's what the masculine energy within yourself is also asking. Because sometimes the masculine energy also comes out, divine feminines, as your inner masculine energy, your personal inner masculine energy, which in many cases, that's also who your masculine on the outside is reflecting, your inner masculinity. So all of that wants to move forward. For others, you haven't met your divine masculine yet. You might know who it is. Maybe you met them a handful of times, but you guys haven't really like gotten together. You might be just talking, could just started to date. They have a past. Whatever that past may be, it's personal to them. This isn't a personal reading, so the little things channeling in, I'm not going to center on. But they have a past, and they don't want for you to judge them or base the relationship on that past. So they're asking, can it just be left? I want to leave it back there. Can you leave it back there too? And just see me for the me that's in front of you right now, the evolved human being. So if you're dealing with a person that's amazing to you, or you just started talking to someone and your vibration is very good with this person, you're not going through any challenges, but maybe people are in your ear, or maybe you're starting to hear that there was a certain reputation that they had, maybe they were involved in certain things, and you can see they're not anymore. This isn't like you have to debate, are they not? You can see that they're not that person anymore, but people have their opinions. People's opinions don't mean a damn thing to the facts. Or as I like to say, the absolutes, because facts sometimes for people can be subjective to what they believe to be factual. But when it comes to an absolute, something that is absolutely what it is, opinion's not going to really hold up. So are you going to judge this masculine by other people's opinions of him? Or are you going to take the time to get to know this divine masculine and help him to leave his past by showing him that you can see him different? You are responsible for what you choose to tolerate and not tolerate. If you feel like you're dealing with a masculine who hasn't left his past and you're tolerating his behavior, he will treat you the way that you tolerate him to. And that's whether your masculine is in a feminine container or a masculine container. It really doesn't matter. What you tolerate, that's what you're going to get. But otherwise, the energy I'm really picking up here are masculines that want to leave the past pains, the past hurts, the past conflicts, bad decisions and judgments. They just want to leave all of that behind, and they want to move forward. Yeah, and past betrayals. Look at that. Didn't I just say past pains? Past betrayals. Whether it's with you that it took place, could have been them doing it to you, could have been you doing it to them. It's not always the masculines that are putting the knife in the back, so to speak, or whether it's just past betrayals of other relationships. That's another issue both can bring to a relationship, is sometimes y'all go through something with another person. You get into union with the right person and you're constantly judging them and looking at them for all the mistakes that someone else did. And you might have dealt with a person, masculine or feminine, that was like that. They hurt you because they were hurt before by someone else, and they kept thinking you're going to do the same thing, so I'm gonna hurt you before you hurt me. And it led to all this betrayal and misunderstanding. This person's like, I'm ready to just leave that. I can't keep living on that. I'm not surviving off of betrayal. When we operate from survival mode, in the sense that we're always in a fight or flight mentality all the time, especially a fighting one, you're actually breaking down the cells in your body. You're breaking down your mental status. You're breaking down your spirit. You're just breaking yourself down. It's like you're killing yourself slowly. Living off of revenge, living off of betrayal, it's not really living. It's someone else pulling your strings like a puppet, because once again, triggers are meant to be cleansed. And if you don't cleanse them, and every time somebody reminds you of something that happened way back in the past, all of a sudden you're taken out of your element. And now you're acting out in a way that you didn't have to act out in. You might be dealing with a masculine that had that issue, tends to act out whenever they're triggered. Maybe you act out whenever you're triggered, whomever's watching, whichever side's watching. And if you've been thinking of leaving the past behind, you've been trying to figure out how to do that, this is Spirit's confirmation of yes, leave the past behind you. The divine masculine in particular is leaving the past of betrayal behind them, whether it was done by you, Divine Feminine, whether it was done by exes. I'm hearing family members, friends, people that, they loved and they thought I could trust you. And those people just stabbed them in the back multiple times over and over again. And they're realizing they pretty much allowed it. They never really fought against it. And so now they're like, I have to come out of this energy because it's killing me and it's killing my union. And they want this with you. This is what they want. They don't want to be stuck alone and not, having self-love. And once again, self-love ties into this. You guys know that whenever I'm channeling like a lot of spirits, stuff tries to come out fast and then words start to stumble. Let's go to the bottom of the deck cards. We have children. This portrayal could have involved children. It could have involved their inner child or childhood. But I'm hearing that some of you are with masculines that either you have a kid with them or they have children. And I'm also hearing spirit babies. So spirit babies are also helping to deliver this message. So if you're with a masculine, you had a kid with them, for whatever reason, some type of separation happened, leaving that portrayal in the past. If you're with a masculine that has kids and he goes through a lot of baby mama drama, he's just tired of all the drama. He wants to leave that portrayal also in the past. In other words, he's tired of arguing with this person back and forth. He's ready to put his foot down and go, listen, we're not going to hurt these kids because you want to play games. He's willing to man up and do what's necessary to make sure his children are secure, but to also make sure he can come into union with his real partner and not deal with the karmatic baby mama drama. But for others, you have spirit babies, possibly two twins that are channeling in. I feel like you've probably received dreams and messages from them before, letting you know what they're feeling. Okay. We have marvelous. So we have spirit babies and healing inner child wounds lead to marvelous romance. Literally, these two cards came out either in one of my Instagram posts or in an Insta story before. When you let the past be in the past and you move forward, you manifest a marvelous romance. Like, it don't get no clearer than that, my loves. That's an amazing reading. I hope that you all receive the message well, that it resonates with you and it helps you to have the clarity and the guidance that you need. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls, and blessings to your sacred unions.